Hey there, nation. Welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander CheapSkate, and we are back on another episode of the Underhive Wars. This is our series of weekly Necromunda battle reports, and this is battle report number 43 of our Necromunda Dominion campaign. This is for our Sector 7 Turf War, and this one is a shootout scenario that is fought between my two friends, Screamer the Emo as well as Lady Domina. Screamer the Emo is playing the red faction of the Genestealer Cults, while Lady Domina is rocking the Killjoys of House Escher. So these two gangs will be throwing it down in a custom-made shootout scenario. It's one of the most famous scenarios we like to play on this channel. So with that being said, we're going to play some background music real quick. If you want to see exactly what the gangs are bringing for this one, go ahead and pause and take a look at your own leisure. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
Alright, so let's go and talk about the scenario rules for this one. The scenario is called Shootout. Both crews get a random selection of D3 plus 1 fighters that are randomly chosen from their rosters in order to participate in the shootout. What ends up happening is that both gangs deploy exactly 16 inches away from each other, and each fighter must be at least 1 inch away from any other fighter within their crew. For the quick draw phase, what ends up happening is that the gangs move forward 3 inches towards each other until they're about 4 inches apart. While they do so, each model in each crew has to take a cool check. They keep advancing until they're 4 inches away from each other, and as soon as one crew has failed 6 cool checks, they quick draw and upon each other and they basically shoot it out. All fighters who become active automatically activate, and each fighter makes an initiative check at checking asking +1 if they use a sidearm weapon and -2 for using an unwieldy weapon. Fighters shoot out in initiative order from highest to lowest, and once the quick draw is done, normal turns as always for the rest of the game. For the victory, the last gang left standing is the victors for this battle report. For the rewards, the winning gang earns D6 times 5 credits for each enemy fighter they take out of action, as well as for experience. Each fighter who participates gets +1 experience points and +1 experience points for any fighter who didn't fail a cool check. For reputation, both gangs get 1 point reputation for fighting each other for the very first time, and the gang that draws second in this scenario, whoever drew second, they take the difference between the number of cool tests they failed as well as 6, and the difference equals the additional points reputation they get for their gang. So with the scenario rules over with, we go directly to the deployment and talk about the battle plan on this one. So here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the battlefield. As you can see, my friends are fighting on the Lonely Mile on this one. They'll be facing off against each other on this overpass until they start quick drawing and try to shoot each other down. As for battle plan, there really isn't much of a battle plan on this one because both players have to advance towards each other and they really can't move anywhere else. Now the Killjoys do have numbers on their side. There's 4 members of the Killjoys squaring off against 2 members of the red faction. However, the 4 members of the Killjoys are going against the leader of the red faction, that's Obed Marsh, as well as an ambot named Dagon. So they do have their work cut out for them as always. As for what my friends are thinking at this point, I really don't know because I'm just taking photographs for our campaign. You would have to ask them. So with the battle plan over, let's go and talk about the deployment real quick. Alright, so starting off with the Killjoys, on the left-hand side, that is Raven. She's a gang who's equipped with flak armor. She's got a combat weapon, which consists of a bolter and a needle gun. She's also got a chain sword as well as Kimsynth. Right next to her is Trixie, another gang who's armed with flak armor. She's packing a last gun, a chain sword, a last pistol, as well as frag grenades. Right next to her on the right-hand side, that is Marlowe. She's a juvie. She's equipped with flak armor. She's packing a last gun, a stub gun, a stiletto knife, the drop rig, and dum-dum rounds for her stub gun. She's also got Kimsynth. Right next to her on the right-hand side, that is Yoko the Pyro, another ganger equipped with flak armor. She's packing a grenade launcher equipped with frag as well as crack grenade rounds. She's got a power sword as well as a drop rig. And that pretty much makes the deployment for the Killjoys on this one. Meanwhile, on the other side of the battlefield, we have the red faction. So first of all, we have Obed Marsh. He is a Colt Alpha. He's got hazard suit as well as 3 stub guns, a respirator with dum-dum bullets for his 3 stub guns. He's also got an auto gun as well. He's got the commanding presence, gunfighter, as well as third arm skills for his character. And right next to him is Dagon, the aimbot. He's armed with twin tunneling claws. He's got light carapace armor. He's got the infiltrate skill, cranial governors, as well as excavation automata, as well as valuable skills as well. and that pretty much makes the deployment on this one for the red faction. So we're going to play some background music real quick to show you guys the turns as these gangs slowly advance to each other. What you'll notice behind each of the fighters is a orange 6-sided die, and on that orange 6-sided die I'll tell you the number of cool tests they have failed. And obviously the game that fails 6 cool tests, they're the ones who draw first and they start shooting it out. So that being said, we'll play some background music real quick, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy the anticipation as these gangs advance towards each other down the lonely mile, ready to shoot each other out. And with that, that takes directly to the quick draw phase. So as you can see there, the Killjoys have failed their 6 cool tests first, so they're the ones who basically broke rank. The red faction only failed 2 cool checks, so they'll get 4 points reputation on this one. So as you can see here, we now have new 6-sided dice behind each of the fighters that kind of shows you what orders they'll be firing in first. So first we'll start with Trixie, followed by Marlowe. After that, we go up with Obed Marsh. For Obed Marsh, it then jumps across the screen again back to Yoko the Pyro, and then finally we'll hit up Raven, and then from there it goes to the very last member, which is the Ambot Dagon. So with the initiative test all over with, we go directly to the aftermath of the quick draw. So with the quick draw over with, ended up being pretty lackluster for the most part. As you can see here, the only real action that took place is with Raven. Raven gets a serious injury as well as a flesh wound put on her by Obed Marsh. Opens up with all 3 guns of his stub guns directly into her. Now the rest of the Killjoys concentrate their fire directly into Dagon. Unfortunately for them though, they were unable to cause any injuries to him. All they were able to do is just pretty much pin him for the most part. And that pretty much ends the quick draw on this one. So with the quick draw over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and both Scream of the Emo as well as Lady Domina roll off for initiative to see who has priority. Alright, so with that, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and the Escher managed to get the initiative on this one. So you can see in this photo, my friend Lady Donna decides to activate Trixie, and Trixie goes charging across the battlefield directly into Obed Marsh and engages him in close combat. Unfortunately for her, nothing much really ends up happening. Only a flesh wound gets put on Trixie, and she's unable to do anything to Obed Marsh. Up next, my friend Scream of the Emo then decides to activate Obed Marsh. Obed Marsh does try to shoot up Trixie with his 3 stub guns, but unfortunately though, he misses all of his shots, so nothing much really happens there. And because he's so close to Dagon, Dagon does get back on his feet again, spinning a simple action to do that, and taking a basic action to open up with his Melt-A-Fist directly into Yoko the Pyro. Manages to put a serious injury on her as well as a flesh wound. She goes crashing on the ground like that and starts bleeding now, and 2 members of the Killjoys are currently down. Unfortunately for my friend Scream of the Emo though, he did fail an ammo check in order to do that, so because he'll need to spend a simple action in order for him to load up his Melt-A-Gun in his next turn. So from there, Lady Dawn then activates Marlowe, and Marlowe goes charging across the battlefield directly into Obed Marsh, engaging him in a pincer attack, taking on both Trixie as well as Marlowe. And Marlowe was able to put the hurting on him during activating her Kim Sith, as well as hitting him with her stiletto knife with a toxin attack, putting a grievous injury straight up onto Obed Marsh. Managed to put him out of action on that one. So because of that, that's an additional experience point for taking out a fighter out of action, as well as additional experience point for taking out a leader. And Obed Marsh goes directly into recovery, ending the very first turn for the Killjoys on this one. So with the action phase over with, we go directly to the end phase, and both Yoko the Pyro as well as Raven both manage to get back on their feet again, suffering flesh wounds. So they're both down 2 points in their toughness, but at the same time though, they can still fight and they can still kick butt if they need to. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 2. And with that, the top of turn number 2 goes directly to the Escher on this one. So Yoko the Pyro takes a basic action to aim with her grenade launcher, simple action to get back on her feet again, and gives a big action to open up with her grenade launcher, firing a crack grenade directly into Dagon. Managed to hit as well as wound him, putting 2 wounds directly onto the Ambot. So things are not looking very good right now for Dagon at this point. So Dagon does get back on his feet again and does spend a simple action to reload his gun, but unfortunately though, his Melt-A-Fist is still currently out of ammo for the most part. And that pretty much makes up Scream of the Emo's turn for this one. And with that, Lady Dama's turn is basically up to her fighter, so because of that, she decides to charge in with her 3 remaining fighters. First off, she sends in Marlo directly into the Ambot. Luckily for her, though, unfortunately for her, she wasn't able to cause any injuries directly onto the Ambot, so nothing much really happened there. The Ambot, of course, tried a counterattack, but unfortunately for my friend Screw the Emo, his attacks failed. Lady Dama then sent in Trixie, who then charges directly into Dagon as well. She does try to attack, but unfortunately for her, she wasn't able to cause any injuries directly onto him, so because of that, not much really happens. Dagon does, of course, try to counterattack directly into Trixie, but just like the last time, Screaming the Emo did fail his counterattacks on that one. And then finally, she sends in Raven, who guards directly into Dagon and engages him in close combat. Not only does she manage to put a hit directly on Dagon, she rolled a perfect 6 in the process of doing that, using the rending weapons trait directly on the chainsaw, putting 2 additional damage directly onto Dagon. Unfortunately for my friend Screw the Emo, though, he failed his armor test, so because of that, Dagon goes directly out of action and ends up with the result of out cold for that one. And so because of that, the only gang left standing on the battlefield is the Killjoys, and that directly takes us to the end of the game, but the Eschers of the Killjoys managed to take the win on this one. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go directly to the post-game, because this battle report is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, so that takes directly to the post-game. So starting off with the red faction. First of all, Obed Marsh suffered an injury, suffering a grievous injury result, and Dagon went out cold, but unfortunately for him, though, he managed to get captured by the Killjoys. So just like that, Dagon is no longer part of the Genestealer Cults. He's now been absorbed into the Killjoys, who used his valuable special rule against him. So that way now, Dagon is now serving the Killjoys of House Escher. For advancements, no members of this gang did advance this time, so we skip the advancements phase and we go directly for the territories. In the territories, from their settlement, the red faction managed to earn 1 point of reputation, as well as recruiting a brand new neophyte hybrid named Jorgensen, and also managed to score 10 credits from that as well. From the refuge drift, they managed to scavenge 35 credits, and of course nothing really worked out for the rogue dock shop. Now, as for their mining works, they did lose their mining works directly to the Killjoys, and the Killjoys have now added that to their territory as well, in a huge upset defeat for the red faction. From the trading post, in the end, they ended up with 50 credits in total. With those 50 credits, they purchased an auto gun, frag grenades, as well as a fighting knife from the stash, and already equipped Jorgensen, their brand new recruited neophyte hybrid. They then placed the 5 remaining credits back into their stash. For the reputation, they earned 1 point from the scenario, as well as 1 point from their settlement, and also because of the fact that they drew second in the scenario, they earned 4 additional points of reputation as well. The new total now is at 38 points of reputation in total. The new record now is at 4 wins as well as 4 losses, and the new rating now is at 2,295 points. And with that, we go directly to the Killjoys, who managed to steal a huge upset victory over the red faction. For the injuries, none of the members of this gang were injured, so everyone's completely fine. And from advancements, 2 members of the gang leveled up. That is Marlo. Marlo, she ranked up to level 4, earning +1 to her cool. And Dagon also leveled to level 2, earning +1 to his cool as well. And like we said, Dagon the Ambot was captured by the Killjoys, and because of the valuable special rule and that he's an excavation automata, he now serves the Killjoys of House Escher, which is actually pretty cool for Lady Domina. In the end, for their settlements, they managed to get for the settlement, they earned 1 point of reputation as well as 60 credits from that. They also managed to earn 1 point of reputation from their synth still, and from the mining works, they were able to raise up to 120 credits from that one. For the trading post, they managed to get 35 credits from the scenario, as well as 180 credits from their territories, for a grand total of 215 credits, of which they put directly into their stash. For their reputation, they earned 1 point of reputation from the scenario, as well as 2 points of reputation from their territories, and that brings their grand total to 27 points in total. The new record now is at 4 wins and 4 losses, and the new gang rating now is at 2,245 points. So that's good to do for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good to do for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.